TopCon. We know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways? Piece of cake. Airports? Let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast. No. Faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon. Always one step ahead.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Championship so close they can taste it.
Oliver Askew has won the Freedom 100.
Side by side. And your new champion, Rasmussen.
Welcome, race fans, to the Carb Morning Classic. I'm your host, Parker Thompson on Road to Indy TV. I'm here with Series Development Director Rob Howden. You know, they say drivers have a tough job, but these announcers, we've been in the booth all night.
Yeah, we just stayed here.
We did. We literally did. So it looks like 11 a.m. we are going to get this Indy Pro Freedom 90 race going.
Well, you got to give kudos to the staff race control last night of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. I was in there with them doing everything they possibly could. It was all about looking at the forecast. Was there a window to get it in? We knew that essentially 30 minutes for each race, 30 minutes for USF 2000, about 32 to 34 minutes for Indy Pro 2000. Remember, we went green to checker last year in both races, no yellows. So we had that hour window we could have got it done. And, of course, all the teams wanted to get it done, wanted to be able to move on to the next event, whatever it may be. Got the track dry. Joel Miller, race control, the race director for USF 2000, was out there checking the track. We were good. We were literally rolling the tuggers last night for Indy Pro 2000, and the sprinkles started again.
I know.
Yeah, tough.
And you know it. Oh. So essentially, for those of you who don't know, we have done 5 official laps for the Indy Pro 2000 race on the Freedom 90. So they did 5 laps behind the safety car, single file. Everybody's getting their tires warmed up. As far as I know, everything that I've seen, we're going to keep those 5 laps on the book, but we're going to start double file.
Double file, yeah. So it'll be lap 6. The minute we roll and get going, that'll be lap 6, that'll be lap 7. As soon as we roll off the grid, we're going to start counting laps at that point. And again, double file restart, so it'll be just like they started the race with Reese Gold on the pole and the Hunkos Racing Machine. Braden Eves on the outside. Top groove. You like that top groove. You talked about it a bit yesterday. Pole position on the inside or the outside. What's your preference here?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, no matter what, I think if the pole sitter can get a jump and he's up high, that's where it's to be. Yeah. So when I say up high, off pole, I think has an advantage if he can roll off with pole sitter because he's in the top groove. I would way rather be on the top than getting pinched down low. That's where you get loose, especially on a green track. There's a lot of wind right now. It's really cold. I mean, if I'm a driver, I don't know what to expect going into this. And it was funny. I was in a team debrief right before I came here, and it's like, throw caution to the wind at this one. I mean, what do you do? Engineers have no idea how to set up the car because you've got a bunch of different rubber down now with the Hoosier rubber down. You've got completely different track conditions, and you've got drivers just like racehorses. They were in the gate last night, ready to go.
Yeah.
And you had to tell your racehorse, sorry, pal, we're going to restart this one at 11 a.m. And you know, it's funny. When I get in the car, I drink caffeine. I usually get pretty amped up. I know a lot of drivers that do that. You've got guys that chugged coffee last night at
to stay awake from
7 or 8 p.m. You know, we're talking 2 or 3 cups of coffee, and then you had to tell them, oh, we're going to go home. You get home by about midnight.
How much sleep did they get, right?
How much sleep did they get?
Well, and interesting conditions you mentioned. Right now, the USAC Silver Crown guys are out there now. They're about, I think, maybe 20 or 30 laps left in their main event. The wind you brought up, man, pretty significant. It's going to be a tailwind coming down the back straightaway, back in their faces, coming up into turn number 1 and 2. My thought, Parker, and this is obviously coming to you as a veteran driver. You've won the Freedom 90 here before. How does that affect the way you approach the corners? Like we did talk about the different gear stacks too. Some drivers have a different gear stack. Some drivers are shifting between 4th and 5th. Others have a car set up they can stay in 5th the entire time. How does that change the approach to the corners when you have the wind in your face in 1 and at your back in 3?
So simple terms, if the wind was hitting you straight on and straight back, which would be the perfect headwind and tailwind, essentially when we call the wind blowing up your skirt, you'll hear spotters say that. Essentially that means that the wind's behind you. Less downforce on the car. Usually the car is looser going into the corner.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Vice versa, when you have the wind blowing directly in front of you, the car is producing more downforce because the wind is hitting the car as you're going through the wind, more stable. But then it gets really technical as to what your car really is doing in those corners. It can be vice versa.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what's kind of scary. You know, as a spotter, you're telling your driver, okay, you should have a headwind. You should be able to drive it in deeper into turn 1 and 2 if you've got a headwind. You'll have to soft it into 3 and 4 if you've got a tailwind. But then sometimes it's just completely reverse. Even though you have a headwind, it's putting more weight on the front, whatever your COP is, which is essentially your center of pressure on the car.
Okay.
Sometimes you're running more front than you are rear. The headwind actually creates the car to be looser.
Wow, all
so
right.
really, it's about adapting.
There's a lot going on here right now, for sure.
Yeah.
And 50 degrees is what we're expecting trackside here. It's pretty much the same as last night. That was one of the reasons why we really focused on trying to get the races done last night. Looking at the weather, John Koski from IndyCar was watching it, and there was a cell coming in, but it was going to break up. We thought we were going to have an hour and a half window to be able to get the races in last night, and that would have been the plan. Obviously, we come here to race on Friday night. That's what we were trying to do. Didn't quite get it done. Johnny Unser called it when we got the rain. But it was 50 degrees last night. It's going to be 50 degrees again today. So it wasn't like it was going to be much warmer today. We conferred with the techs at Cooper Tires. 50 degrees was good. Very similar to the Speedway at Indianapolis, where you have to have the ambient temperature, the track temperature, at least 100 degrees for Firestone to go.
So it's really interesting that Rob brings that up. What generates heat in a lot of these tires? A lot of people don't know it. It's a common misconception that tire scrubbing is what generates heat. And yes, the surface friction of the tire does generate heat when it goes across the asphalt or the pavement. But really what generates the heat is the brakes. And at Lucas Oil, really to go fast here, you're not using a lot of brake.
Yeah.
So when you've got, this 50-degree minimum, it's going to be tough to get the tire temp up. And that's why we did those 3 or 4 warm-up laps before we were going to go green. And then obviously that light rain got a little bit too hard for the pace car, and we parked it.
So do we hold our breath for the first 5 laps? Is that what you're saying?
It is going to be the wildest first 5 laps that you've ever seen at Lucas Oil, I think. So
then you look at some of the guys that are up front and the experience they've had. We talk about USF 2000 being such a great training ground, right? Look at the guys that are up front. Reese Gold on the pole position in the number 55 for Juncos Racing, a former USF 2000 race winner. Then you've got Braden Eves and Christian Rasmussen, who are back-to-back the last 2 champions in USF 2000. So they have the experience here running in the Freedom 75. I have to believe that any driver who's never been in the race, like a Kiffin Simpson maybe, a distinct disadvantage not having a race distance here.
100%. And for those of you at home that think that driving in a circle is easy physically, I can tell you that this was, when I ran an Indy Pro, this was the most physical track of the year.
It really is.
When you have to do 90 laps straight here, I mean, your right arm and forearm is destroyed by the end of the race.
I talked to a couple of drivers about that. They said that, and it's the mental focus too, right?
Oh.
On a road course, let's say at Road America, you're grabbing gears. You got 2 big, long straightaways that are straight. Unless you're getting attacked, you got a chance to kind of rest your mind a little bit, right? Think about how you're going to approach the corner. It does not stop here. It's a half an hour, hammer down. Like you said, your arm gets pumped, but you got to stay focused too at the mental side.
And you'll watch. You'll see guys lose like 0.5 of a second in a collection of laps, right? And that usually is a telltale sign that they scared themselves somehow. Their physical side is falling off. They're getting more tired. And mentally, you'll watch it. I mean, last year with Manuel Suleiman, he had about a second and a half lead. And all of a sudden, the lead was gone. And we see that so many times where drivers, you have that mental lapse and that physical lapse for, 3 or 4 laps in a row. And just because you had a straightaway lead here, a straightaway lead is only about a second.
That's it. It's very true. It's very
so
true.
That gets eaten up so quick.
So your thoughts going into this here, Reese Gold starting on the bottom. We made some picks yesterday, but Reese Gold starting on the bottom, Braden Eves on the top. Really, I think the key probably for Reese, mention the start zone, where the start zone is, because I think the start for him, getting the jump on Braden's going to be key.
Yes, so it's a Lucas Oil special here because we have the same start zone almost every year we come here. And as you come through 3-4, there's the Lucas Oil Raceway sign on the side of the track, on the wall.
Yep.
And that is their start zone. So that's going to be key for Reese Gold to get that jump. You can choose first gear, you can choose second gear. If I was Reese, I would probably go first gear, and I would keep the field. I know Johnny Unser probably doesn't want to hear this, but I would keep the field as absolutely slow as I could.
I would too, yep.
And I would get on the hammer in first gear.
Early.
And as soon as you are clear, your spotter's going to have to make that call to say clear to come up. And I know we don't want to chop anybody, but if he doesn't get up and clear, the advantage goes to off pole, which is Eves.
And then what did we see last year with Cody Swanson battling it out with Stingray Robb? Stingray was trying to get by Cody. Cody was topside. Stingray was middle of the track. Had a really good race car, but Stingray couldn't get the pass done. Burnt those tires up over the first 25 laps of that 90-lap race, and he ended up failing to the tail, further back in the field, having cooked those tires. If Eves gets to the top and they go side by side for a couple laps, what's that going to do to Reese's car? You're really pushing hard on those tires in the bottom.
Well, and this is something, it's the strategy play that not a lot of drivers understand, right? Everyone thinks, we just need to get the job done. If you can't get the job done in the dirty air in 2 to 3 laps of going low puts so much stress on the front tires, you're grinding them essentially, that you'll lose the front tires within 4 or 5 laps. And once you lose the front tires, the balance of your car changes for the whole race. So once you're over the front tires, you overheat them, you can never get them back, it seems like. So my suggestion, and this is kind of how I always raced, is just be patient. If you can't get by the guy, it's better to sit back, 10, 15 car lengths.
That far?
Wait a little bit until that guy falls off. Until you start seeing him have catches, you kind of analyze what he does. Maybe he's pushed loose, maybe he's loose all the way around. And then you capitalize at the end of the race. We saw Hunter McElray. We saw a bunch of guys last year make really late race charges.
Devlin DiFrancesco as well,
I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I have a feeling that their spotters being smart enough. Most of the spotters here are from IndyCar. Same thing over there, right? If you can't get them in the opening laps, that's why, I'm not saying the race is going to be boring in the middle, but everything happens in the first 5-7 laps. And then the last 10 laps of Lucas Oil Raceway.
So the race really does develop in the middle of the race as drivers are taking care of their tires, maybe going to research, seeing what the guys up front of them are doing, where they're struggling, where they're having trouble, and then making that pass later on in the race. And that's right. So maybe we'll look to see things happen in the last 10 laps.
Well, and Stingray last year was a great example of that. He was probably one of the fastest drivers in the field, but he worked his tires over too hard at the start, first 7 laps. And then he went back to, I think, 6th or 7th during the race.
And it's a crucial race as well. People, we didn't talk about this today yet, but we talked about it yesterday. 45 points for a race win on a regular weekend is 30 points to win a race. Of course, there's a double header, so there's 60 points on offer plus all the bonus points. But 45 points to win here. If you're further back in the pack and you're able to jump forward and get a big race win here, like a Reese Gold, if he's able to win here, he's going to find himself in a championship battle when we get to Road America.
100%. And what does it mean to win the Freedom races? These are our... So let's go find out how different drivers have won here at Lucas Oil Raceway. What do names like Pato O'Ward, Connor Daly, Spencer Piggott, Memo Gidley, and yours truly all have in common? They've all been able to tame their race cars and take the checker flag as Freedom champions of Lucas Oil Raceway. Since 1992, Lucas Oil Raceway has been making men out of boys on the road to Indy for what is most of the drivers' first encounter with oval racing. The common misconception for even the most avid motorsports fan is that more corners mean more difficulty for the driver. I can tell you from firsthand experience that that is not the case. This 4-turn, 5/8 of a mile bull ring has a way of humbling drivers like no other circuit on our Road to Indy calendar. Is it because the fastest way around here is the high groove on the top of the banking, just inches off the wall? Is it because to qualify on pole here, you have to get the job done with no heat in your tires, sliding that Tatis machine around at an average of 120 miles per hour? Or is it because the driver in the car that win this race usually spend more time turning right than they do left in order to take the checkered flag and take the check home on Friday night. Welcome to Carb Night Classic on Road to Indy TV. Let's go crown some Freedom champions.
Smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast? No. Faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. Topcon, always one step ahead.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you.
Go with the Coopers.
Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
The month of May means one thing if you're from Indiana and you love IndyCar. It means the Indianapolis 500. What does the Indy 500 mean? It means going fast left. And how does the Road to Indy train their drivers to go fast left? Well, we have what's called the Freedom 75 for USF 2000 and the Freedom 90 for Indy Pro 2000, where our drivers get to drive at Lucas Oil Raceway in a circle. Now, how do we take our cars from oval spec to road course spec? That's what we're going to learn today on Talkin' Tech with Thompson. Let's go find some engineers. I am here at Force Indy with two of their engineers, Raul and Nadine. Raul and Nadine, we've got to get this car in 2 weeks' time ready to turn left at the Freedom 75. How do we attain that with the setup of the USF 17?
So one of the main things, as you said, in an oval you're only turning left, so you optimize the setup of the car to only go in that direction, right? So one of the main things that you do, it is you change the alignment of the tires. In a normal car, you have negative cambers in both sides, left and right. In an oval car, usually you have negative camber on the right-hand side, but you have positive camber on the left-hand side. So the tires are optimized to turn on that direction.
Nadine, what kind of time does that take the team to fully take this car from a road course spec to an oval spec?
Fortunately, we've been able to take the time to practice it, so we're pretty quick with it. I would say, really, we can do it in between sessions in most cases.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And I would say that's not usual for most Road to Indy teams, so that's great you guys have practiced it. Indy Pro 2000 is headed there as well, and they've got to figure out how to make their car turn left and right and then turn only left. So I'm here with Kent Boyer of Able Motorsport. Kent, longtime engineer of making cars go fast in circles. What do we got to do to this? What do we got to do to this IP car to get it to turn left?
Because we run so much camber, the first thing, they have a different camber block and steering block in here to allow the tire to have some more camber. And also on the rear, we have to put in a longer drive shaft because of so much camber. And then when you're on an oval, you don't usually run a square car like you do on road course. You'll move things around that are different from corner to corner just so you can go around an oval.
You're a first-year Indy Pro engineer. Have you heard much about the oval spec Cooper tire?
Luckily, last year I was fortunate to be on a team that won the oval last year, so I'm pretty up to date on everything to do with the oval. Ovals are my favorite because the engineers, we get to be a lot more of the result than just the driver. Road courses drivers can carry us when we're not doing a good job.
Well, he nailed two things on the head. Number one, I forgot that Kent Boyer kicked my butt last year at Lucas Oil Raceway. And number two, I could not agree with you more that an engineer carries a driver on an oval. It is your race to win, and really, we just got to pilot it. So, Kent, thank you very much for talking with us, and best of luck.
Thank you.
One of the biggest question marks over racing drivers is, are they athletes? And I am here today to debunk that. I am here with Jim Leo of Pit Fit Training in Indianapolis. Jim, very happy to have you on the show. Not only that, let's talk about what you're doing with Pit Fit and how you got started in driver fitness.
Started around 20 years ago working for Roger Penske in a corporate wellness program, and I, as a young physiologist, wanted to work with his IndyCar team. He said go for it, and it began my foray into this field that is basically I've never looked back.
Wow. So starting with Roger, you're starting at the top. I have to say, as a racing driver myself, that I've played many other sports, and racing ranks up there with the absolute toughest to compete in. The physical on the body, take me through what a driver goes through and take me through how you train for that.
IndyCar, the road to Indy, is the most physical because you have high levels of grip, you don't have power steering, and the races can be as long as 2+ hours, in the case of the 500, 3 hours. So all of these components thrown in together make for a very physical event. The heart rates are hovering in the 160s, 170s. Lightning fast reactions are needed to avoid other cars. The muscles needed on the neck and the shoulders and the core to withstand the load of the G-forces and the turning of the car are very, very high. And there's really no other series that can encapsulate what you go through with IndyCar.
For sure. I couldn't agree that more. I mean, I've been on the road to Indy for a while, and those cars are pretty physical, so I can only imagine what the drivers are facing in IndyCar. Take me through the process of a driver like myself on the road to Indy coming into the gym. Obviously, they get a driver evaluation, so that's kind of your day to figure out where your baseline is. And then what is the turnkey process that they'll experience here at Pit Fit?
Once we take them through the evaluation, that gives us an idea of their weaknesses and their strengths. We look at what series they're in. We can determine whether this driver needs to get stronger, the reactions aren't quite where they need to be. We can compare all that data. We've had so many drivers run through the evaluation. We can show them that this is what drivers in your category are doing. This is what the drivers in the category above you are doing. And our objective has always been, we're not training you for the series you're in, we're training you for the next level. Let's say you're running in an Indy Lights car and you get an IndyCar test. We prepare you for the IndyCar test while you're driving Indy Lights. The last thing you want to do is get that call up at the last second and go out for a test and then not be able to complete the test at your peak level because your physical fitness wasn't there. So we prepare every driver for the next level up, and so therefore we've had a lot of drivers who move up the ladder. But when they first come in, they all go through the evaluation. We set them up on their programs, and based on our experience with drivers, then we'll modify that program to fit their needs. And that's, it sounds very simplistic, and from our standpoint, it is very simple. From the outside looking in, though, and once you get on the inside and see what goes into the training and the programming, it's very elaborate the way it's set up.
Well, perfect. Without further ado, let's get me trained up for IndyCar.
The inside finished third last year in the USF 2000 Freedom 75 out of Carmel, Indiana for Miller Hereditary Motorsports. It's Jack William Miller in the number 40 starting in ninth. Row 4 on the outside from Kentucky. The team building a shop here in Brownsburg. It's Jacob Abel from Abel Motorsports in the number 51. Showed really good pace in our final test session on Thursday afternoon. I expect him to work his way forward here. Jacob Abel in the 51 starting 8th. Inside of that row from Australia, actually with the New Zealand flag on the car, it is Hunter McElroy in the number 18. Second in USF 2000 2 years ago, was a race winner at the end of 2020. Already has a victory here this year as well. McElroy for Pabst Racing in the black number 18. Row 3 on the outside from St. Petersburg, Russia. An international field for sure here. Artem Petrov for Exclusive Autosports in the number 42, a winner on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway just 2 weeks ago. Petrov starting in 6th on the outside of row 3. Inside of that row from Ireland, it's James Rowe Jr. in the Topcon machine, Trintec sponsored car for Turn 3 Motorsport. Rowe in the 3 starting in the 5th position. Row number 2 on the outside now, Manuel Suleiman out of Mexico, 2 times the winner last year, and he was the guy that led early to try to see if he could win last year, but no one was going to hold off Cody Swanson with Legacy Autosport last year. A huge win, of course, getting that pass, an amazing pass on the low side of turn number 4. Suleiman starting on the outside of row 2 here today, looking for retribution of what happened last year. Suleiman in the 22 for Juncos Racing. Inside of row 3, you see the white, red, and blue machine. Those are the scholarship colors of the 2020 Cooper Tires USF 2000 champion out of Denmark. Christian Rasmussen won a ton of races last year. Comes in here and has already won as well here in the Indy Pro 2000 season. A rookie in the program, but already a race winner and will be challenging for that championship. Rasmussen in the number 1, driving for Jay Howard Driver Development. 11 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, off pole. Already a winner last year, already a winner this year. The 2019 USF 2000 champion out of New Albany, Ohio. It's Braden Eves in the number 91 for Exclusive Autosport. He's been a winner this year as well. He'll look to try to find victory on the oval here today. 5/8 miles, super quick for these drivers, over 119 mile per hour top speed. Driver on the pole, though, very, very impressive in qualifying. A strong opening lap, but he went about 1.5 miles an hour faster on lap number 2. No one else did that in the field. Out of Miami, Florida for Juncos Racing, just 16 years of age, the number 55 of Reese Gold. The Ticket Clinic, the sponsor on the car for Juncos Racing. Gold looking to grab his first win in Indy Pro 2000. Gold and Eves will be on row 1. Rasmussen and Suleiman on row 2. Rowe and Petrov on row 3. McElroy, Abel, row 4. Miller and Simpson, row 5. And on row number 6, Wyatt Burkachik. Bit of an issue in the panic for Jack William Miller, not able to get the engine fired, but finally does get it back going, and will get into his grid spot here. So getting ready to fire things up here, folks. The first of 2 races for you here. Really the crown jewel for this Indy Pro 2000 category. To call yourself a Freedom 75 or a Freedom 90 winner is big on the resume. You always want to have that that little show on the resume saying that you can get the job done on an oval. 1 minute, folks, before we fire things up. All these drivers getting set to go. 250 horsepower behind them. Cooper tires all around. The Italian-made Tatis PM18 chassis. And again, all these drivers trying to follow in the footsteps of Pato O'Ward and Colton Herta and Renus VK. Drivers that have worked their way through this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires and have found themselves in positions in the NTT IndyCar Series. 90 laps for you. We had 5 in the books yesterday. We tried to get things going last night as we before the rain hit, so it will be a double file start. 5 laps already in the books, 85 laps at speed for you as we get set to go with Reese Gold starting on the pole, just as he did at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. No winner yet for Reese Gold here in Indy Pro 2000, victorious in USF 2000 last year. Time to get these engines fired, folks, and we will send these drivers around. They'll be running the high side of the racetrack That's the quick way around, but to get by lap cars and to be able to make overtakes, you got to get to the bottom. Engines firing. Drivers, start your engines. These drivers just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series and the Indianapolis 500. The champion this year, a scholarship for over $600,000. Also an IndyCar test at the end of the season, along with the top 3 in Indy Lights. A lot of prizes, a lot of opportunities up for grabs for whoever comes through as the champion when we cap off the season at Mid-Ohio on the opening weekend of October. Talked about it in the pre-show with Parker Thompson on RoadToIndy.tv. These drivers, remember last night we were trying to go at 11 o'clock. They literally were probably slamming down Red Bulls, drinking coffee, trying to make sure they were up and ready to go. Then we tell them, no, you got to go to sleep and get back at it.
Same with you.
Yeah, very true, Pat. Same with me as well. Pat Sullivan, you and I have had a chance to work together quite a bit here at Lucas Oil Raceway, but you've also followed so many of these young drivers coming up the ranks. You've seen them in all the work you've done at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is the future of the NTT IndyCar Series.
And it really is, and the grid shows that, Rob, as we've talked before. This is progressively growing. This series has done exactly what it is intended to do.
Yeah, exactly that. We're all excited to see Colton Herta and Renus VK starting, of course, on the front row for Sunday's 500, but they've got some guy named Scott Dixon beside him, and he was good on Saturday.
At what point do we really understand how great he is? I mean, the numbers are there. I don't think people are quite there to understand. He is one of the greatest championship drivers of all time.
Same.
End of sentence. Period.
Really, that's very, very true. And you want to say he doesn't get the respect he deserves, but he does. He's the legend. He's the Iceman. But you're right. He literally is up there with the AJ Foyts and the Mario Andretti's.
Right there. The numbers don't lie.
They do not at all. All right, so laps are counting right now as we get things going. We're going to go 1 to go, I believe, this time by trying to get some heat into these tires. It's about 51 degrees trackside temp. We do say hello to those of you tuning in to the Road to Indy TV app, IndyPro2000.com or RoadToIndy.tv. You might be watching on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for joining us here at Lucas Oil Raceway, the only oval for USF 2000, the one of 2 for drivers in Indy Pro. Field starting to pair up, coming down the back straightaway. Punch-off zone, the red and white Lucas Oil Raceway Indianapolis sign into the middle of turns 3 and 4 rather. Reese Gold, 16 years of age. Bottom side of the racetrack, not the best place to be. He's got to get a good start to be able to clear Braden Eves as they work their way around here. So indeed, getting set to go for the Freedom 90 for 2021. Gold, way late in the start zone. Getting things rolling. Green, green, green. And he's able to get a start and clear. Eves slots into second. Leaves is going to go to the bottom of the racetrack immediately. Can he make that move? 3 wide further back. Jack William Miller to the bottom of the racetrack for P7. Here goes Eves to the inside and 1. They're side by side. Hard to run the bottom of the racetrack, especially with cold tires. You got to get the job done. Eves trying to get a run out of the corner. He slots back into second, 3-driver breakaway. Reese Gold, Braden Eves, and Christian Rasmussen. Fight back there now for the 4th and 5th position. Artem Petrov on the bottom. James Rowe Jr. on the top. Rowe's going to take 5th, and Rasmussen gets to the inside of Braden Eves. Christian Rasmussen to P1. The point leader goes back to 3rd. Rasmussen hanging it out here early. Everybody playing nice so far. Reese Gold leading down the back straightaway. Rasmussen made quick work of Braden Eves. He goes to P2. Eves into 3rd. Closing up behind Eves, Manuel Suleiman, the Mexican driver for Juncos Racing. James Rowe Jr., the Irishman, 5th. Petrov, 6th. McElray, 7th. Abel, 8th. Here's a pass later on down the field. Kiffin Simpson, the 9th, in the 21, trying to go to the bottom side of Jack William Miller. Opening couple of laps is when you got to get at it. If you can't get the job done early, you're really better to settle in here and watch the drivers in front. We saw it last year. Drivers pushing too hard early. Stingray Robb, now an Indy Lights driver, won the championship last year, but that battle that he had with Cody Swanson, he tried to get by the bottom of Swanson. They were literally side by side for 25 laps. Cody was hanging out on top, taking care of the Coopers. And to be honest, down the bottom, Stingray was really abusing the front tires, trying to stay that low line. Couldn't get it done and really faded at the end of the race. That was a learning experience for Stingray for sure. And maybe the same here for Kiffin Simpson. He's running the bottom still on Jack William Miller. Field stringing out here early on. Reese Gold gets out front. Looking good here early. Fast lap as well, 20.755 for Reese. Open racetrack. Wind in their face coming down the back straightaway. Tailwind as they come up to turn number 1. Changes the dynamic of these cars. Obviously very aero dependent. Much different than, of course, the Silver Crown cars you just watched. James Rowe Jr. in the number 3. Maybe reeling in Braden Eves a little bit. Eves, your point leader coming into the event. Again, 45 points to win. Points and a half for our oval race. Only the one race on the weekend. We normally run double headers or triple headers. 30 points for a race win in those events, but 45 on the oval. These drivers here in the Indy Pro 2000 category back on track. Another oval later this year. Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Quick racetrack. They think it's fast here. Wait till they buckle up for that one. Much different racetrack as well. Those corners at Gateway, so different. But a good experience. And all this, the reason why we run them here on street courses, natural terrain road courses, and on the oval is to train them, of course, to make the move to IndyCar. Guys like Colton Herta, Rinus VeeKay, having an opportunity to run these ovals. I think we've all seen the bravery of Rinus VeeKay as well. That guy likes to go at it. He is one of the most aggressive drivers on the racetrack. Absolutely pure enjoyment of the sport as well. He just absolutely loves being there, and he's I think a dark horse pick for the 500 on Sunday. Reese Gold trying to win his first ever Indy Pro 2000 race. Just 16 years of age. Started in USF 2000 at just 14. Did a couple years with Cape Motorsports, the juggernaut team in USF 2000. Nicholas and Dominic Cape, of course, have won multiple championships over the last 10 years. 8 of the 10 championships, I believe, with drivers like Spencer Piggott, Matthew Brabham, Petri Savanto. Most recently, Braden Eves. Oliver Askew, of course, as well. So good training for Reese Gold, making the move up to Indy Pro 2000 with Juncos Racing, last year's champion. Juncos Racing won the championship as well a couple years ago with Rinus VeeKay. VeeKay then finishing second the next year in Indy Lights, staying with Ricardo Juncos' team. But Gold out front, Rasmussen second, Eves slotting into third. Artem Petrov in the 5th spot. This is where we'll start watching lap times, whether or not Petrov... Actually, I think he's already by. Indeed, Petrov? No, he's still closing. That's the white and green, but Suleiman. Manuel Suleiman potentially having trouble here with James Rowe. Suleiman a couple tenths of a second quicker than Braden Eves last time by. The gap from Eves back to Suleiman just 1.2 seconds. Eves taking care of the race car, top side. Exclusive Autosport drivers run 3rd and 6th right now with Artem Petrov. Hunter McElroy trying to roll up a bit here on Petrov as well. In fact, McElroy just turned his fast lap, 21.298. Still about a half second off that of Reese Gold. Fast time 20.755 to 20.9. Only driver currently circulating laps under the 21 second mark. 9th, 10th, and 11th. Nose to tail as they have been from the get-go. Jack William Miller, Kiffin Simpson, and Wyatt Prokachik through turns 1 and 2 now down the back straightaway. Simpson's been really working over. Keeps trying to go to the bottom. You got to watch it. You really abuse those front tires. Simpson looks good coming out of turn number 4, though. Side by side. Man, he's working on it. As you do this, though, as you continue to punish those tires, you're going to get that entry push. Car's going to drift up on the track for you. Might be better just to sit in the back and hold on there for a bit for the last maybe 15 laps, 10 to 15 laps. 27 laps in the books, coming up to the 3rd mark. 90 lapper. Did the best we could to try to get this track ready last night. We didn't lose it completely. We had it dried out. We were getting ready to go. We were rolling out the tuggers, bringing the teams out. We were getting ready to fire up for Indy Pro 2000. The mist started happening again, and finally the race control of the Road to Indy had to call it. But big thank you to everybody. Everybody here from Lucas Oil Raceway did everything they could to work with us to try to get these guys in the cars last night. Best battle still on the racetrack is this fight for the 9th position. Kiffin Simpson keeps putting the pressure on Jack William Miller. Miller, though, doing a good job running the high side of the racetrack, taking care of the tires. So is Wyatt Prokopchik. Oh, almost a big wiggle there for Rasmussen. He almost threw it away in turn 2. Rasmussen, full tank slapper coming through 1 and 2 as he was closing up here on Reese Gold. Reese is going to have to deal with some lap traffic, but Rasmussen almost threw it away in turn 1 and 2. That car was all out of shape. Yeah, last lap time of 21.5, lost 0.4 of a second. McElroy still closing as well on Artem Petrov. That would be the battle for 6th position. So a little moment there for Rasmussen in the pre-show talking to Parker Thompson. He said, when you scare yourself like that, it usually takes a couple of laps for you to get things dialed back in, especially if you get a little higher, maybe into some of the marbles up top. You just got to focus yourself and get yourself back into it. Reese Gold now coming onto the front straightaway. He sees this battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th right in front of him. That battle's not going to stop. Reese Gold's going to have to get himself through there, and I think Rasmussen, of course, his spotter telling him, let's get going. Let's get some good laps in here. In fact, Rasmussen quicker by 1/10 of a second on that last lap. Christian Rasmussen, winner last year here in USF 2000. Can he go back-to-back at the Freedoms? Simpson again side by side coming out of turn number 2. Oh, he gets a better run. That's the best run for Kiffin Simpson. Side by side with Jack William Miller down into turn number 3. Simpson on the bottom. Going to try to force the issue coming out of the corner. Can he clear him? Not quite there. Should get it done this time into 1 and 2. Jack William Miller still topside. Kiffin Simpson beating up the tires. Can't quite get it done. So tough on the bottom. If I look forward to the forecast here, I got to think Simpson's burning these tires up. He's just trying too hard at the bottom. Good experience for the young driver, though. Couple of battles potentially forming as drivers are closing. Still the side-by-side fight for 9th spot. Reese Gold trying to close up, but he's seeing that fight for side-by-side like, what do I do? Oh, there's a good surge for Kiffin Simpson coming out of turn number 2, able to get some forward bite on the bottom. I don't know if it was potentially an issue for Jack William Miller, but he's almost there. He's almost cleared him. Spotter's going to tell him to come high. No, wow, they're almost an inch apart. And Kiffin Simpson finally by Jack William Miller. Reese Gold is closed up right to the tail of Wyatt Prokopchik. Down the back straightaway. Gold will go to the bottom. 38 laps in the books. First time to the bottom of the racetrack for Reese Gold. How's that car going to feel? He's run the top groove the entire race. And Rasmussen definitely leveraging it. Prokopchik is Rasmussen's teammate. Didn't quite put up the fight I think that Christian would have liked. Kiffin Simpson by Jack William Miller, and he's checked out. Gold thinks about the bottom of the racetrack, trying to go by Jack William Miller as well. And he's going to get him down into 1. Reese Gold's a rocket ship right now in that Juncos racing machine. Wow. Now Rasmussen trying to get by his teammate. I expect he'll get a good run down the back straightaway. Get a tow from his teammate tucked to the bottom. Going to try to get cleared quickly as Reese Gold continues to lead. Braden Eves by himself in 3rd. Suleiman 4th. Rowe 5th. Petrov 6th. McElroy closing up on Petrov from 7th. Rasmussen struggling to get by Jack William Miller. Back to the bottom. Had he been able to clear him? Oh, there he's right by in the mid-corner out of 4. Start watching this gap between 1st and 2nd as they're getting ready to reel in Kiffin Simpson next. 21.6 for Gold, 21.4 for Rasmussen, 0.8 of a second the gap between first and second. Rasmussen up on the wheel, trying to go back-to-back with the Freedom victories. One last year with Jay Howard here in the Freedom 75. Braden Eves in the 91 third. Manuel Suleiman in the 22 fourth. James Rowe, his best run of the year, P5 in the Turn 3 Motorsport machine. Team owner of James Rowe's Turn 3 machine, Peter Dempsey. Those of you who are Freedom 100 fans remember that amazing 4-wide finish where he came from fourth, coming out of Turn 4 to get the lead and the win at the line. 4 wide across the line at the Speedway. Peter's father, Cliff Dempsey, and mom have a Formula Ford team over in Europe. Dempsey Racing now bringing on a partner, Low Dempsey Racing. So the guy, Peter, grew up in this sport, now a team owner alongside his wife, Mandy. Gap now down to 0.7 of a second for Christian Rasmussen. Halfway point of the race, 45 laps down, 45 to go. Oh, wiggle there for Reese Gold coming out of turn number 4. Had the car pinched a little bit on the exit, and the car jinked on him a little bit. Look how close Rasmussen is coming down the back straightaway, the Danish driver. Big run. He is closed up significantly, a half a second separating first and second. Reese Gold not even to his teammate Kiffin Simpson yet. He's fallen off. He's about 0.6 of a second off his quickest laps. Did he push too hard early? Rasmussen trying to close second half of this race. USF 2000 drivers now prepping themselves in the paddock. They'll go next. I got a feeling we got a race on our hands here. Wyatt Prokopchik now trying to go to work on Jack William Miller coming down the front straight. That's for 10th position. Eves, Suleiman, and Rowe tightening up as well, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Good lap there for Braden Eves, though, stretching by about a 10th. He's got 0.7 on Manuel Suleiman. They haven't had to negotiate the lap traffic yet of Jack William Miller and Wyatt Prokopchik. Gold back down to a 21.4, maintaining an 0.8 of a second gap, but that lap car of Kiffin Simpson in 9th, it's going to make things very interesting. Remember, now that's a Juncos car. That is Reese Gold's teammate. You have to believe they're letting Kiffin know your teammate's coming through. One thing we pointed out yesterday, interesting, the leader always seems to get a tougher time of it. You never want to go down a lap. You try not to go down a lap, but once you've gone down a lap, when second comes, you let them go because you're already down a lap. So always tougher on the leader. When we're talking about lap traffic, you do anything you can. You scrap, you put the elbows up, not to go down that lap. Once you do, you're done. But if you stay up front and you get that yellow, you're going to stay on the lead lap and find yourself potentially battling for a top 5. Simpson, you know, I'm impressed so far as a young rookie driver for sure, coming straight from karts into Indy Pro 2000. Did a lot of testing, but he's been good this year. I've been impressed as a young rookie. I think he's going to be super strong in the coming years. Gold thinking mid-corner here now, trying to get a little air on the front wing. But Rasmussen definitely closing, and he is on the gas. Still running the high side of the racetrack. Gold, mid-track. That's not the way to get the job done here. Look at the gap here now. It's down to probably 0.4 of a second. He is eating them up. Rasmussen to within 3, 2 car lengths coming through 3 and 4. This is reminding me of the Cody Swanson Manuel Suleiman battle from last year, where Cody set the pick. Oh, almost in the back of him. That was unbelievably close. Rasmussen into turn 1, chucked it in there. Gold got the pass down on the bottom, and I think that what happened was Kiffin Simpson opened it up there. He got off the throttle a little bit to make sure Reese cleared him into 1, and Rasmussen almost drilled him in the back. I guarantee that was a bunch of brake for Christian Rasmussen, and that's one of the things our cars really don't do here. You don't use the brakes hardly at all. Maybe just take a set. Get off the car early, get it to set, back on the throttle when you can. So much downforce on these cars, we're not jumping on the brake. And that also affects tire temperature early. Obviously, a lot of the cars here, now Parker Thompson mentioned this in the pre-show, a lot of the tire temp that we get, not so much scrubbing the tires or the friction, more the heat from the brakes that heats up the wheel, that heats up the tire. All right, open racetrack right now for Reese Gold. He'll put lap 57 in the books this time by. 33 laps to go. And what do we got for Rasmussen? He had closed up there within 2 car lengths as they were trying to get by Kiffin Simpson. Now with open racetrack, it's mano a mano. I don't know that they're going to get around to catch Jacob Abel. Jacob's having a good run here in 9th position, 8th rather, turning good lap times. Quicker than James Rowe, quicker than Artem Petrov. Abel a 41.254. Quicker than Manuel Suleiman, quicker than Braden Eves. 3rd quickest driver on the racetrack last lap was the driver of the 51, Jacob Abel. He's trying to close up here now on Hunter McElroy. This is where it's going to get exciting. Big run for Manuel Suleiman. He's going to go to the bottom of the track on Braden Eves. They're closing up on lap traffic. Eves on the top side. Suleiman on the bottom. Hard to get the job done there. Suleiman coming across the bow. Book it. He's through. Suleiman goes to 3rd. A big run for Manuel Suleiman. Do we have an issue here with Braden Eves? Lost the air off the front wing coming through turn number 2. That's allowed James Rowe to close. Suleiman now closing up on the lap cars of Burkacek and Miller. Reese Gold pulling away again. Gold, Rasmussen, Suleiman, Eves, and Rowe. Braden Eves is not getting off the corner very good out of turn number 2. I got to think he's just a little late on the throttle. Got to wait for the car to set. Lost a spot to Suleiman. He's going to go to the bottom here now on Burkacek. Suleiman trying to get by Wyatt Burkacek. Braden Eves trying to take full advantage of it. Eves kind of spooling things back up again. Big run down the back straightaway. He'll go to the bottom of Burkacek as well. So Eves to the bottom of the racetrack for the first time. That car's not good at the top. It's not going to be good at all on the bottom, but he's able to clear quickly. Here goes McElroy trying side by side as well. We're going to fight here for that 6th position. McElroy on the bottom, Petrov on top. Artem using the top line to get a better run down the straightaway, but good forward bite at a 2 for Hunter McElroy to the bottom, and he'll take the spot, releasing into turn number 3. A little later, getting off the throttle in 3, and he'll take the spot away from Petrov. Here comes the 51 as well. You wonder what's going on with the exclusive cars here. Both of them going backwards here. 27 laps remaining. Eves trying to find his way now by Jack William Miller. Bottom coming out of turn 4. You got a lot of wheel turned into it. Got to be easy on the throttle. He'll go to the bottom of Miller. Jack Williams still running the top side. You kind of want him to just get off the throttle a bit. And Eves is cleared. He's P4. McElroy has already got by Petrov, as has Jacob Abel, and now McElroy's going to work on James Rowe for P5. We saw this last year. Late race movement. Did you take care of your tires for the first 2/3 of the race? This last half, you can be a rocket ship. McElroy to the bottom. He's going to get by James Rowe. That's for P5. Big run on Burkacek as well. Oh, McElroy thinks about throwing it in there, sending it to the bottom of the racetrack. They're side by side again with James Rowe. Rowe running the top side. McElroy at the bottom. He'll set the pick on Burkacek here pretty soon. McElroy, an unbelievably talented driver. Book it. He's through as well. McElroy to P5. Still watch the battle for the lead. Christian Rasmussen has got it back down to a half a second. I didn't think there was going to be lap traffic issues, but there may be. Oh, they're going to put lap 68 in the books. This is getting close. Rasmussen trying to reel things in. We're too wide further back. Rowe having to battle it out with Jacob Abel. Now, I mentioned Abel, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack. Let's reset for you. Gold the leader. Rasmussen second. Gap between first and second about 0.6. Suleiman, after getting by Braden Eves, P3. Eves fourth. McElroy fifth. Rowe sixth. Abel all over James Rowe now, trying to get by for seventh. They're trying to get by the lap car of Burkacek. Petrov 8th, Simpson 9th, Miller 10th, Burkacek 11th. James Rowe scrapping it out now with Jacob Abel, who gets by on the exit of 2. Move Jacob Abel now into 6th. Abel, see if he can't get by Prescott cleaning and try to set out after McElray. Braden Eves now back confirmed comfortably in 4th. Not the result he would have wanted, but the point leader coming in will take it. Reese Gold trying to jump himself up into the battle for the title. Gold back by 34 points coming in, 45 points for the race win, so he is definitely going to work his way forward. Will likely jump over top of Artem Petrov. Same goes for Rasmussen. He may take the point lead. Christian running where he is now. Look at Jacob Abel sending it to the bottom of the corner at turn number 3. He's closing up on McElray. That would be for 5th. Live timing's got Jacob Abel. I don't think his transponder's working right now. It's got him down to 11th. So I have a feeling there's a transponder issue here for Jacob Abel. They'll be can scoring him as he's now trying to close back up on McElray for P5. Leaders, again, working their way side by side. Check this out. They are coming into the back of the pack again. They're going to go by Artem Petrov. Oh, thinking about 3 wide. Rasmussen trying to go to work here on Reese Gold. What a finish we're going to have here. 15 to go this time by. Reese Gold gets by Petrov. Crucially to get through. Oh, big wiggle there for Rasmussen. He knows the race is on the line. Got to get by Petrov quickly. Cannot get held back by any lap cars. Reese Gold now going to work. He's to the bottom. But that's where Reese Gold is. Rather where James Rowe Jr. is. Traffic jam coming out here. Issue for Prescott. He checks up coming out of the corner. Here goes Rasmussen to the bottom. All the way down on the apron. Side by side. Rasmussen to the bottom. Can he get the lead? Big run there. Trouble for James Rowe. He's slow coming. He's going to the pits. Trouble for Rowe from P6. Side by side the leaders. Rasmussen going at it here with Gold. Trying to get it coming out of the corner. Side by side. Almost touching wheels. What a race. Oh, big wiggle again to the bottom of the racetrack. Rasmussen dancing on the razor's edge as he tries to get by Reese Gold. Jack William Miller just in front. Rasmussen sending it into the corner. Car drifts high. Oh, they're going to make contact again. They touch coming out of 4. Rasmussen getting into the side of Reese Gold at a turn number 4. He's taking the lead. That was elbows up. Talk about aggression for Christian Rasmussen. Take no prisoners. He pinched Gold to the top of the racetrack. This guy wants this championship. Able to get by. What a pass. Can Gold respond? That's the crucial key. He'll go to the bottom to get again by Jack William Miller. Gold's got to dial things back in. 10 to go. 10 laps remaining. Christian Rasmussen the leader. Gold second. Manuel Suleiman third. Braden Eves fourth. Hunter McElray fifth. McElray's got Jacob Abel trying to reel him in. Leaders literally coming around to potentially lap the 6th place car. That's how good they are out front. Oh, another wiggle on the exit for Rasmussen. He is given everything he has and maybe a little more. Asking for everything out of the J. Howard Driver Development PM18. Christian Rasmussen to the lead. This would most definitely give him the championship point lead heading to Road America at the end of June. See what other fights we potentially have on the racetrack. I don't think we have anything super tight right now other than Jacob Abel trying to reel in Hunter McElray. Abel had a rough lap the last one. He's in 6th. Reese Gold led a majority of this race. I'll get a bonus point for that, but that was a confident move to the inside of 3 and 4 for Rasmussen. Really, I think, putting a stamp on this race. Making a statement to Reese Gold. USF 2000 champion last year, race winner of the Freedom 75, trying to back it up with a Freedom 90 win here, and he is pushing that car. Another big correction on the entry to turn number 1. That car is not perfect, but Christian's manhandling it right now. To be able to catch the car like that when you start to lose it going into the corner, it doesn't take much to break away. Look at this, Reese Gold closing up. 5 to go. 5 laps remaining. And they are starting to close up on Jacob Abel and Hunter McElroy. Will lap cars play a role here? I guarantee you, Oswaldo Negri, the spotter for Reese Gold, on the radio telling him, push, push, push. Christian sliding around. Front tires may be gone on that machine. It's been a couple of big wiggles in one. Another little correction mid-corner in 2. Rasmussen hanging on here out front. 4 laps, or 4 to go. Gold trying to dig it in here. Gap 0.6 of a second last time by. Down the back straightaway again. This time 0.5. Gold's closing. I don't think they're going to catch Jacob Abel. Christian doing everything he can to try to bring it home. 2 to go. 2 laps for Rasmussen, but the gap shrinking. Getting there and passing is a different thing. Gold up on the wheel. Still has yet to win an Indy Pro 2000. Flirting with a win here at the Freedom 90. But it's the veteran Rasmussen, the Danish driver, trying to go back-to-back, winning the Freedom 75 in 2020. White flag flying from Aaron Likens this time by. And closer comes Gold to the bottom of the track. Gold, a wiggle to the top for Rasmussen. Just 2 car lengths coming out of 1 and 2. Big run coming down the back straightaway. Gold's going to go to the bottom. So does Rasmussen. They're going to be side by side. Gold to the bottom of the racetrack. Who gets a better run? Gold pedaling it, and Rasmussen will win. Christian Rasmussen, back-to-back jacks at Lucas Oil Raceway. Freedom 75 winner, Freedom 90 winner this year. But how about the 16-year-old Reese Gold throwing it to the bottom of the track in turn number 3? That was a tremendous race. We saw a ton of overtaking, great passing, great battling. Reese Gold pulling up alongside Christian Rasmussen to pay respects for the victory. He was aggressive in turn number 4 to take that lead away from Reese Gold, but Reese closing up in the final couple laps. He threw it in there, yeah. Give him a wave, folks. That was fantastic.
Good race.
We'll bring the top 3 drivers around. Believe we got our podium set up, I think, down in pit lane. No, I don't see. It's not. It hasn't been brought over yet. We'll see how we decide to shake this down. Wow. And I'll tell you, Christian Rasmussen will take the point lead from Braden Eves. Eves finishing in the 4th spot, Rasmussen P1, so it's going to be a nice little advantage for Rasmussen, but what a race that was. He went and got it. Bringing out our podium here for you. Pat, grab that mic. Quick chat as we wait for these guys to come around. That's old school racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Sometimes we get processional events. This time lap traffic came in and we saw some guys really having to hold on to the cars at the end of the race.
We really did. And you mentioned Rasmussen several times having the wiggle down there because hustling the car in so deeply. But this is the kind of thing that really tests their mettle because they were side by side. They had to hold that line as best they could. In any way you want to slice it, that was an outstanding race. Yeah,
I think everybody saw it. You guys were all up on your feet in the last lap there. Rasmussen was on the high side. Reese Gold, just 16 years of age. You can't ask for much more of a young driver like that than to catch up on the final circuit and literally make the run. You can see Rasmussen jumping out there into the arms of his crew. Gold tossed it down to the bottom, side by side coming through the corner. He had it all crossed up in the middle of turn number 3 and 4, able to gather it up, but still a tremendous run. We're seeing a lot of progression in terms of driver talent and racecraft in Reese Gold.
How much did he make up in the last few laps to make that a race?
0.8 of a second, yeah.
Absolutely, and that's a lot of moxie there. That's good stuff.
Juncos Racing putting 2 cars in the top 3, Manuel Suleiman as well. So there's your international field. Denmark, America, and Mexico on the podium here And again, we'll bring our podium around to get things underway here momentarily. But what a race for those drivers down. I'll tell you, Christian Rasmussen, you can see the absolute jubilation of the driver, again, who won the Freedom 75 last year, backs it up with a Freedom 90. Normally, you don't see oval specialists out of Denmark, but I'll tell you, Christian's really been an impressive driver over the last 3 years. He was a race winner in USF 2000 and 2019. Went on a tear, 7 wins to start the season last year, and rode that to the championship. And, of course, the scholarship to move up to Indy Pro 2000. Stayed with Jay Howard. And now the point leader heading to Road America at the end of June in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Rest of the field will work their way down the back chute. We'll tend them back into the paddock area. Our USF 2000 drivers getting set to go. Podium slowly working its way down here. Always a pleasure to get here to Lucas Oil Raceway. I'll tell you, it's just one of the important events for us, for these young drivers to get a chance to get a feel for running on the oval here. And I'll tell you, that was an experience for many of the drivers. We saw some really good racing in 9th, 10th, and 11th. Jack William Miller, Wyatt Prokachik, Kiffin Simpson battled it out early. Simpson coming home with a strong run as well into the 8th spot, his first time here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Christian Rasmussen, though, as we said, winner last year at the Freedom 75. And wow, talk about getting the job done here today. We'll get Tatis Victory Lane set up. The trailer on the back part of the front wall there. Get our drivers over and get things underway. Dan Anderson from Anderson Promotions down there as well. Good folks from Cooper Tires. And again, USF 2000, those competitors getting themselves set. We'll bring those teams out here as well to get themselves set up here on pit lane. Championship here in Indy Pro 2000 and in USF 2000, of course, just getting started. We head to Road America, as I said, in June. First week of July, we're at Mid-Ohio. The Indy Pro 2000 drivers then head to Worldwide Technology at Raceway at Gateway for their second oval race. Doing an event at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and we'll cap off the season at Mid-Ohio, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the first weekend of October. That was the rescheduled event after the cancellation of the Honda Indy Toronto. So the championship will head to that very challenging natural terrain road course in Lexington. So a long way to go. Although the championship battles are most definitely starting to form up, there is a long way to go. Lots of racing still to be done in the 2021 season. Again, all the drivers in Indy Pro chasing that scholarship over $600,000 at IndyCar test at the end of the season. The scholarship, of course, putting them in Indy Lights in 2022, just one step away from the NTT IndyCar Series. Getting things dialed in down here at Tatis Victory Lane. Again, you can see the Tuggers, the crews rolling out for USF 2000. 24 drivers in USF 2000. Most of the drivers here in this particular category, Indy Pro, we only had the one rookie, and that's Kiffin Simpson. And we got a lot more rookies in USF 2000, their first time here. Going wheel to wheel in terms of racing at Lucas Oil Raceway. So this is going to be interesting, especially with 24 cars, a lot more lap traffic. Those drivers starting up front will really have to put their heads down. Michael D'Orlando, second-year driver, starting on pole in USF 2000.
TopCon. We know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways, piece of cake. Airports, let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast. No, faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon, always one step ahead.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin, and Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you.
Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
With over 40
on the podium in the Freedom 90. Finishing in the second spot, a very talented young American from Miami, Florida, of course, was able to lead majority of the race. Folks, a round of applause for Reese Gold. Second today for Reese in the 55 for Juncos Racing. We have an international field here in the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. He's a Freedom 75 champion. Now he puts the Freedom 90 on the resume as well. The winner today in the #1 for J. Howard Driver Development. A round of applause for Christian Rasmussen. Those final laps were exciting for sure. Christian will grab that trophy. I think he will. There you go. He's been here before. Number of wins last year, as I said, in USF 2000. Already a winner this year here. And Christian Rasmussen has shown his ability here on the oval at Lucas Oil Raceway. He'll see if he can do it again at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway in August. But that was a tremendous race, no doubt about it. Those last couple of laps. Give it up for Reese Gold, too, to close up like he did. Oh, see, Rasmussen's been there before.
That was a veteran move.
That was, wasn't it? That was solid. Got on it really early. Champagne flying, of course, down here in Victory Lane. Big thank you to Tatis, of course, the supplier of our race cars. The USF 2000 competitors rolling out on track right now as they get set to go with the Freedom 75. This is the race that Christian Rasmussen won last year. These drivers anywhere from 14 to about 20 years of age. Each one of them with dreams of getting to the NTT IndyCar Series, following in the footsteps of guys like Connor Daly, Sage Karam, Renus VK. Of course, Felix Rosenquist, who came from Europe to run Indy Lights and now part of the Aero McLaren SP team. Pato O'Ward, multi-time race winner in Indy Pro 2000, and of course, as well, in Indy Lights, the champion. These drivers just getting their journey started. The champion getting a scholarship worth almost $400,000 to move to Indy Pro 2000. They're bringing them around. Let's have a look at the grid. 24 strong, getting set to go. Starting in the 24th position, you'll see him later here. The USAC midget race as well for Joe Dooling Autosport. It's the number 63 of Trey Burke, the rookie, starting 24th. Alongside him from New Zealand for J. Howard Driver Development, Peter Verdanovich in the number 9. Row 11 will have the driver out of Indiana. It is Michael Myers and the Michael Myers Motorsports, Michael Myers Racing, number 42, starting in the 22nd position. Watch for Michael to work his way forward. Rough start in the Silver Crown race for Nathan Byrd. We're thrilled to have him here as well. He's in the number 19 for Legacy Autosport. Byrd starting in the number 21 position. Row number 10 on the outside, Bajoy Garg in the number 6 for J. Howard Driver Development. Issues early. His only laps on Friday, or Thursday rather, was qualifying. So he's only had a couple laps on the racetrack. Garg will settle in from 20th when we get started here with the Freedom 75. Inside of that row, last year's Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series champion running for D4 Racing. It's Eli Navarro, the Indiana driver, in the number 1. Row number 9 on the outside now, Evan Stammer from Illinois in the Ignite Autosport with Cape Motorsports entry. He'll be the number 3. Alongside him for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, Kent Vaccaro in the 16. Row number 8 on the outside from Quebec, Canada. It's Thomas Nepbu for Cape Motorsports, the rookie in the number 2. He'll start alongside Avon, Indiana's Jackson Lee, the rookie driver in the number 8, coming off a 10th place finish at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lee for J. Howard Driver Development in 15th. Row 7, out of New Zealand, Billy Fraser, coming from the Toyota Racing Series. He's with Exclusive Autosport, the number 91 starting 14th. Inside of that row for turn 3, Autosport driver from the F1600 Championship Series last year, rookie Dylan Christie, starting in 13th. We'll move now to row number 6 on the outside. The Force Indy driver out of New York, the rookie Miles Rowe in the number 99 machine. Inside, out of St. Louis, Missouri, for Ignite Autosport with Cape Motorsports, the rookie Spike Kohlbecker in the number 5, starting 11th. Move our way into the top 10 right now on the outside of row number 5. Josh Green for turn 3 Autosport out of Mount Kisco, New York in the 33. He'll start 10th. Inside of that row, starting in the number 10 machine for D-Force Racing from Palo Alto, California, third-year driver Nolan Siegel. We'll go to row number 4 on the outside. Point leader coming into the weekend out of Delafield, Wisconsin. It's Yuvan Sundaramurthy. A couple of wins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sundaramurthy in the number 22, starting in 8th. Alongside him out of Cambridge, England, it's Matt Roungarito for Exclusive Autosport in the number 92. Go to row 3 on the outside. Brazilian driver coming off a victory in the third round of the triple header on the road course at Indianapolis. Kiko Porto for D-Force Racing. The Brazilian in the 12, starting 6th. Inside of that row, the young American from Santa Clarita, California. Already a winner this year. Swept the weekend at St. Petersburg for Exclusive Autosports. Christian Brooks in the 44, starting 5th. Row number 2, impressive rookie so far, top qualifying rookie in the series for Pabst Racing, Jace Denmark, the American in the 23, starting 4th. Alongside him at a Wilsonville, Oregon, second-year driver running for Pabst Racing, the number 24 of Josh Pearson. 24 drivers in the field. Front row drivers, both with race wins here in USF 2000. Prescott Campbell starting on the outside, winner at Barber Motorsports Park earlier this year. Campbell in the number 11 for D-Force Racing will start second. The driver able to get the job done in 2-lap qualifying on Thursday afternoon. Out of Hartsdale, New York, Michael D'Orlando in the Cape Motorsports number 4. He will start on the pole position. D'Orlando and Campbell on row 1. Pearson and Denmark row 2. Brooks and Porto row 3. Roungarito and Sundaramurthy on row 4. Siegel and Green on row 5. It'll be Kohlbecker alongside Rowe on row 6th. Christie and Fraser, row 7. Lee and Nepfu, row 8. Vaccaro and Stammer on row 9. Navarro and Garg, row 10. Byrd alongside Myers on row 11. And Verdanovich and Burke on row number 12. Sundaramurthy, as I said, coming into the point lead. 75 laps in front of these drivers as we're just a couple of minutes away from firing things up. Gap right now, 13 points between Yuvan Sundaramurthy and Kiko Porto. Christian Brooks in the 3rd spot, not that far back. Just 16 points behind Sundaramurthy. Josh Pearson in 4th. Michael D'Orlando, P5 right now in the championship, and he is about 37 points back. Starting on the pole position here, though, 45 points available for the race winner. This could be an opportunity for D'Orlando to get himself back into the championship battle. Prescott Campbell in 6th in points. Spike Kohlbecker, top rookie right now, currently in the 7th spot. Really consistent program so far for Kohlbecker. I think we'll see him work his way to the podium. I always say, for drivers in USF 2000, the rookies really start to come to life midway through the season. First, of course, races. Just kind of get settling in, getting a feel for the race car itself, the program. They come out of karting where you get tons and tons of practice over a race weekend. You come to a USF 2000 race, you're on track 5 times. You've got, 1 practice, a couple of qualifying sessions, and 2 races. That's it. You got to pick up the racetrack quickly. So it does take some time for them to get acclimated. And I think by the time we get to Road America in June, they're feeling a lot more confident. They got a good feel for the team. They've, kind of gelled with their engineer. And oftentimes we see rookies really get impressive podium, potentially even race wins. And Road America on through the remainder of the schedule. Again, 24 drivers set to go here. Great to have all these young competitors. I talked about the international field as well. Kiko Porto from Brazil. We got Thomas Nepfu from Canada. Billy Fraser from New Zealand. Matt Roungarito from England. A little further down the field as well. We've got other drivers like Verdanovich, who has come in as well from New Zealand, part of the Toyota Racing Series. Engines have fired, folks. And we're about set to go racing for 75 laps. We'll bookend this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires with USAC competition for you. USAC midget sitting on pit lane, getting set to go. What a race that was in the Silver Crown. I know USAC claims him, but we'll take Cody Swanson as well. He's a Freedom 90 winner last year, Pat. So
You're darn right he is. They ran over at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
He did. Yeah, indeed.
And he found out that that's a different oval with the cars that he was paired with.
Indeed, no doubt about it. But yeah, well, great to have Cody with us here last year. I love that pass he made for the race win. And again, we'll see the midgets later on. Great to have all you people back out here as well. I know that many of you here soldiered through last night, realized the rain was coming, but to see you back here on a fantastic Saturday afternoon. Carb Night Classic kind of morphing itself, Pat, back into the night before the 500. I like it. This race many times, of course, a Saturday night show. Last number of years here on Friday night. Saturday afternoon for you. Drivers getting things dialed in here now. Michael D. Orlando will lead him to the start. And again, pole sitter in the bottom part of the racetrack. As you saw, I think if you watched Indy Pro 2000, the bottom not the greatest place to be. That leader's got to get enough of a jump to be able to clear the guy beside him to be able to come high. If he gets pinched to the bottom, if Prescott Campbell can get a good enough jump on D. Orlando to hold the top, that's when things it gets interesting, when the leader's got to stay to the bottom. Got a lot of rookie drivers here that have never been here before, and I think that's kind of crucial. Jace Denmark, first time ever in the Freedom 75, 4th. Spike Kohlbecker, 11th. Rowe, 12th. Christie, 12th. Christie, 13th. Fraser, 14th. Jackson, 15th. Nepvu, 16th. We got nothing but rookies mid-pack. So hold your breath for the first couple of laps. I guarantee you every parent in the paddock is going to do the same thing. I guarantee you every spotter's on top just trying to calm their driver down. Take it easy. Get through the opening 5 laps. Get some heat in these tires. Find out where you slot in, and we'll go to work. We'll take care of the tires. For the young drivers, it's all about just trying to get through this race. Put this one in your vernacular. Put this one in your resume. Get comfortable. Get a feel for it. Don't throw it away. Awesome field of drivers. 24 strong in USF 2000. And I think we're getting ready to go racing. Indeed we are. Pace car heading off into the pit lane. Folks, we're ready to go with the Freedom 75. Michael D. Orlando on the pole. Prescott Campbell on the outside. The New York driver and the Californian. 2 drivers from Pabst Racing on row number 2, and they're stacking it up. We're going to get set to go racing here, folks. D. Orlando has the points. Aaron Likens waiting to pull the green flag as we get started with the Freedom 75. Green, green, green. Good start for D. Orlando. Christian Brooks trying to get to the bottom. He will. Big butt move to the bottom for Christian Brooks. He's going to go up to potentially P3. Everyone on cold tires. Brooks trying to get a good run on the outside, inside there. It's, I believe, Pearson or Denmark up top. It's still him to the bottom. Brooks trying to make a move here early. Good start here for D. Orlando as he's able to go to P1. Campbell slots into second. Brooks trying to go at it here right now with a 12 of Kiko Porto. We're 2 wide further back. Good so far through the opening circuit of 75. Christian Brooks slotting into P4. Able to get 1 spot on the get. Here comes Porto to the bottom of the racetrack as well. One driver moved back pretty significantly at the start of that one. As they come across the line to put lap number 2 in the books. Pabst Racing had drivers 3rd and 4th at the start, and indeed was Josh Pearson who slotted back into 7th position. Even Sooner Murthy, I believe, able to slip by his teammate as well. Pearson just 15 years of age. They're side by side. Pearson to the bottom, Sooner Murthy to the top. Prescott Campbell having a good run so far. Little bit of a wiggle at the bottom there for Josh Pearson as he's trying to get the spot away from Sooner Murthy, the point leader. Look at Prescott Campbell, the D-Force Racing Machine, rolling up here on the leader. Sooner Murthy able to get the job done on Josh Pearson, but Josh back to the bottom again. Car drifts high, mid-corner. Behind them, pretty good battle as well between, I want to say, Nolan Siegel and Matt Round-Garrido. Yeah, Round-Garrido's on the top side, Siegel's on the bottom. That's going to be the fight for 9th and 10th. Round-Garrido getting a better run out of the corner, but Siegel's got position at the bottom. Here comes the 5 as well. Spike Kohlbecker on Dylan Christie. Little mid-corner bobble there for Siegel. Had to correct. Going to give Round Garrido some better speed coming out of the corner. And indeed, he'll take the spot. Siegel looking back to the bottom again. Battle up front. Prescott Campbell getting a feel for the race car. Winner at Barber Motorsports Park. Jace Denmark, P3. Rookie in the program. Never been here before. Third spot. Obviously an inspiring car. Confidence inspiring for Jace Denmark. Let's have a look at the battle here now. I think I want to say that's for 7th. That's Josh Green in the bottom of Josh Pearson. That's the fight for P7 indeed. Green to the bottom. Pearson still holding that top side. Let's see if Josh Green can get the position coming down the back straightaway as he is in the bottom of the racetrack here. Doesn't get a big jump to the bottom. You got to get a little more of a shoot into the bottom here. Trying to get the clear. Very close to Prescott Campbell. Further back as well. Dylan Christie and Spike Kohlbecker going at it. That's for 11th. Kohlbecker to the bottom. Nolan Siegel still working on Matt Round Garrido. Green not able to get by Pearson. Man, we got a lot of side-by-side racing. Surprising. 75 lapper for the drivers here in USF 2000, the first rung of the road to Indy. Many of these drivers coming out of top-level national karting events, potentially F1600, some from F4. It's just getting started in that journey. The quest to try to become the next star of the NTT IndyCar Series. Indeed, the good scrap further back. Pearson's going to go by and go back in position. Josh Green now goes to the top side. Pearson trying the bottom. I think Green's quicker. Yeah, he's going to get a better run out of the corner. Behind them, 2 by 2. And that is 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th. Matt Round Garrido side by side for a while there with Nolan Siegel. Same goes further back with Dylan Christie and Spike Kohlbecker. Kohlbecker to the bottom of Christie. I think he's going to get the job done here momentarily. Kohlbecker. A lot of experience for Kohlbecker. Started his racing car career in Canada with Exclusive Autosport, the Canadian Formula Ford Series. Then moved to Europe, ran there as well with the British Formula Ford. Ended up doing the Toyota Racing Series as well down in New Zealand. And then F4 last year. First season here in USF 2000 for Spike Kohlbecker in the Ignite Autosport with Cape Motorsports entry. Seventh and 8th still dicing it up. Josh Green and Josh Pearson. Green took the spot, but Pearson continues to push. Little defensive move to the bottom there for Green into 3 as he drives mid-track, try to take that corner. Hasn't been able to pull away from Pearson yet. And Nolan Siegel still fighting it out with Matt Round Garrido. Siegel looks pretty good. I think if he were able to pull away and get out front, he may be able to pull away. He seems a bit faster, but Round Garrido using that top side of the racetrack, taking care of the tires. That's key. When you run that bottom line too much, you punish the fronts. Late in the race. From what I see, most cars looking pretty stable. Nathan Byrd and Trey Burke dicing it out here for 22nd, running together on track. Byrd in the Legacy Autosport machine. Burke going to the bottom here in the Joe Dueling Autosport, number 63. Peter Verdanovich, the Kiwi, something very different from Peter, coming from Tin Top Sports Car Racing, then jumped into the Toyota Racing Series, now with Jay Howard Driver Development. So definitely a learning year for the Kiwi, Peter Verdanovich. 17 laps in the books, 75 lapper. Michael D'Orlando, let's go back onto the leader a little bit here. Putting really good lap times down. Prescott Campbell with the fastest lap at 22.511, but both drivers 22.8 last time by. Prescott Campbell potentially looking to just settle in here. First podium last year at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Got a win, though, start of the season at Barber Motorsports Park. It hasn't been quite as easy since then for Prescott. Hasn't got himself back into the top 5, I believe, for the rest of the season thus far. Second place finish would be great for his confidence moving forward. Again, our next race, Road America. just over a month's time. The road to Indy next, taking the Indy Lights drivers to the Detroit Grand Prix. Only lights there on the street circuit. Other two categories, USF 2000 Indy Pro, looking at Road America. So D'Orlando with 20 laps in and 55 to go, starting to think about the first drivers in lap traffic. It'll be Peter Verdanovich. We saw what it did with the battle in Indy Pro. Let's see what D'Orlando's got. First time through, a little wiggle mid-corner there. Just trying to set things up. Gets a big run down the back straightaway on Verdanovich. He'll head to the inside of the racetrack. Almost clears him going into the corner, allows him to get higher on the exit. That's going to be nice for him, trying to set the pick. As Prescott Campbell then right to the bottom. Prescott looked good on the bottom there. Made quick work of Verdanovich. Mentioned that before, though. Most drivers will put up a big fight to the leader to stay on the lead lap. Once they've gone down a lap, the drivers in second are going to get an easier time of it. Next up for D'Orlando will be the scrap between Nathan Byrd and Trey Burke. A lot of great racing further back as well. Matt Round-Garrido now running in 10th. Dylan Christie 11th. Spike Kohlbecker 12th. Miles Rowe in 13th. And 14th is Billy Fraser. Those five drivers all running together. Matt Round-Garrido finally losing the spot to Nolan Siegel. And as I expected, no one able to slide by. But here goes Spike Kohlbecker now to the inside of Dylan Christie. Kohlbecker's been trying to get this done all race long. He's going to pitch him to the top. Oh, super close on the exit of 4. This is Kohlbecker trying to force the issue here a little bit. I think he potentially has it finally. Yeah, he'll go back up the racetrack. Christie's going to go to the bottom now. Dylan Christie now going at Spike Kohlbecker. He gets a really good run mid-corner, but watch out coming out of the corner here. Nice run for Christie. Right on the gearbox of Matt Round-Garrido, and Christie slides through. The slide job to take the spot back away, and here comes Miles Rowe in the Force Indy number 99. Seeing the battle in front of him. He runs currently in the 13th spot. Billy Fraser right behind him. Christie's going to go by Matt Round-Garrido. Wow. Dylan Christie looked like he was going to go back to 12th. Stepped right up and went back by Kohlbecker, and then went right by Matt Round-Garrido. So move Christie now to 10th. Round-Garrido going backwards here now as Kohlbecker down to the bottom. Matt's got the top side, but Kohlbecker trying to get the job done. In fact, clears him coming out of turn 4. Here's your top 10 right now. D'Orlando, your leader. Campbell second. Denmark third. Christian Brooks in fourth. 5th is Kiko Porto. 6th is Yuvan Sooner Murthy. 7th, Josh Green. 8th, Josh Pearson. 9th, Nolan Siegel. And 10th, Dylan Christie. As they run on the racetrack, I want to say Christian Brooks potentially retaking the point lead. I don't know. I don't think that's correct, actually. I'm going to change that. I don't think that's messed up. I think there's something wrong there with the points on our live timing. It says that Brooks would have 192 points, but he came in with 138, so that's just not going to happen. So obviously an issue there. We'll refrain from calling points if we can't give you something decently accurate. Good run here right now as well for Billy Fraser, the Kiwi, as he's starting to put the pressure now on his teammate Matt Round-Garrido. That is the fight now for 12th and 13th. Dylan Christie just set his fast lap of 22.674. Not surprising. Able to get out. First able to get by Kohlbecker, having lost the spot. Leaders now working their way through Nathan Byrd and Trey Burke. Leaders still very close together. Jace Denmark not that far back either. Prescott Campbell, fast lap of the race on lap 3 at 22.5, but 23.2 as they work their way through traffic. Prescott Campbell's looking really good here to me. Like there's an opportunity that he may be able to get a race win. I know D'Orlando looking good out front, but really impressed right now with Prescott Campbell, how he has just stayed there, took care of the tires. Maybe 3 or 4 car lengths back, getting cleanly through lap traffic. Here goes Billy Fraser trying to get to the inside of his teammate Matt Round-Garrido. That's the two exclusive Autosport drivers. Akiko Porto trying to reel up here on Christian Brooks as well. Getting by some lap traffic, continuing to work on it. Chase Denmark, the rookie, now closing up here on Nathan Byrd. Leaders within a couple of car lengths. It's Bajoy Garg, I believe, the next up for Michael D'Orlando in the White Cape Motorsports number 4. Going into turn number 3 right now, 3 and 4. Look at Prescott Campbell thinking about the bottom of the racetrack. We may have a pass for the lead here pretty soon. Campbell close, trying to leverage the lap traffic. Prescott Campbell all over the gearbox. Out of turn number 2. Not even quite to the halfway point yet. Parker Thompson talked about it at the start of the pre-show how physical this race is. It does beat up your body. You get the arm pump in the right hand. But the mental focus required for success here in the Freedom is so important. Campbell, great job to get by Bajoy Garg. Now they're closing up on Michael Myers, I believe, and Kent Vaccaro. Those drivers did a great job staying high on the racetrack. D'Orlando is through. They're by Myers now as well. Yeah, Bajoy Garg, Michael Myers, the number 8 as well of Jackson Lee. All those drivers through. Christian Brooks having a little trouble getting by Nathan Byrd. Got caught up coming out of turn number 2 a little bit. Byrd needs to get to the high side. Brooks trying to run the bottom of the racetrack. He's struggling to get by now. Kiko Porto trying to leverage that. Brooks to the inside of Byrd. Porto's right there, as is the 22 of Sundar Amurthy. Josh Green's come up into the fight too. What a scrap there now. That's the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Sundar Amurthy, point leader, running in the 6th position, starting to get a little antsy, I think. Josh Green in the 33 will go to the bottom as well to get by Nathan Byrd. Leaders separated by 4 car lengths going down the back chute. Miles Rowe as well. Let's go back a little deeper. Miles Rowe is closed up to Billy Fraser as well. So Round-Garrido 12th, Billy Fraser 13th, Miles Rowe 14th, and Eli Navarro as well in the number 1 and 15th spot. They're nose to tail. There's some really good battling throughout this entire field right now. A couple of clusters of drivers. Keying on the leaders, though. They've got more lap traffic in front of them that they're going to have to get to. It's going to be Vaccaro, Stammer, and Nepvu as they try to roll up on 16th, 17th, and 18th. And maybe the only saving grace for Michael D'Orlando, 2 of those drivers as teammates at Cape Motorsports. Miles Rowe now to the bottom as he's trying to get by Billy Fraser. There's a lap car in front of them. Fraser gets a better run out of the corner. He's going to try to go by Round-Garrido, use the pick. Round-Garrido down to the bottom. They're getting by Verdanovich. Oh, they check it up a little bit. Round-Garrido had to check up mid-corner, and they are stacking up behind him. It's Billy Fraser. They're 3 wide coming down the front straightaway. Navarro's going to stick it in there as well. Miles Rowe to the bottom of the racetrack. What a battle here right now. This is for 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Round-Garrido, Rowe, Fraser, and Eli Navarro. Rowe the bottom now. Got to keep your lane. Probably close enough to clear, and he does. Runs mid-corner to try to hold him off into turn 1. This is some great racing. Interesting about Miles Rowe, of course, part of the Penske's Race for Diversity and Change Equality. He's been actually working with some guy named Rick Mears.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good, I hear. Definitely a mentor you'll want to have. I saw Rick talking to Miles after an incident at Barber Motorsports Park. Just that calming voice of Rick Mears that can just give you that little bit of advice here and there. Just so obviously the guy's a legend of the Speedway. And to be able to give back to a driver like Miles Rowe, Impressive. And Miles having a good run here now. Able to get by Billy Fraser. Now going to work on Matt Round-Garrido. 45 laps in, 30 to go. 30 more laps remaining. Leaders now closing up here on a bunch of lap traffic. Let's put it this way. That battle for 4 I just talked about, plus 4 more cars, that's what the leaders got to go through now. D'Orlando to the bottom of Kent Vaccaro. Here goes Prescott Campbell. How about 3 wide to turn 3? Not quite, but Campbell getting aggressive. He is showing the wheel on Michael D'Orlando. Oh, big wiggle for Miles Rowe, mid-corner of 1 and 2, as he's doing everything to get by Matt Round-Garrido. But for the leaders, as we count down the laps, they've got themselves a battle up front that they're going to have to easily pick their way through. I'm sure Michael D'Orlando, the spotter, telling him what's coming up. There's a battle coming. And it's side by side still. Miles Rowe trying to get by Matt Round-Garrido. And I'll tell you, Round-Garrido's run the high side the entire day. Those tires, I got to think, are going to be in pretty decent shape for the last 15 laps. Rowe side by side through turn number 3 and 4. Going to clear him on the exit. Book it. Miles Rowe moving his way into P12. Been a rough one for Matt Round-Garrido. Just hasn't had a car moving forward. He's got a battle with his teammate now, Billy Fraser, Eli Navarro in there as well. And here come the leaders. Able to get by Evan Stammer. Evan Stammer running in the 17th spot, rookie here in the program. Both D'Orlando and Prescott Campbell through. D'Orlando in the white number 4, Prescott Campbell in that blue and white number 11 for D-Force Racing. Eli Navarro now thinking about trying to find a way by Matt Round-Garrido because I believe, Billy Fraser in the Cambridge Global Payments machine has got himself into 14th. Here come the leaders. Back up front, D'Orlando the leader. As I said, Campbell runs in second. Third is Jace Denmark. Fourth now Kiko Porto as he was able to get by Christian Brooks. Trying to find them on the racetrack right now as well. Eli Navarro to the inside of Round-Garrido, and D'Orlando able to get cleanly by Thomas Nepvu. So the leader with a bit of room, and we got a driver slowing on the back straightaway. That is Round-Garrido. I think he's done. Something happened to Matt Round-Garrido as he is slowed, and he'll head to pit lane. Trouble for the 92 of Matt Round-Garrido, the Englishman. Trying to find this scrap for a little further back. Where's Kiko Porto here? Here's Kiko. Okay, he's on the racetrack front straightaway. He's P4. And there's that next fight. It's Christian Brooks 5th, Yuvan Sundarmurthy 6th, Josh Green 7th. Coming around at 20 to go. Putting lap 54 in the books, 21 laps remaining. Michael D'Orlando holding about 6 car lengths on Prescott Campbell. And D'Orlando has been masterful leveraging the lap traffic. Has had no issues as of yet. Very decisive in getting by. Next up for him will be Eli Navarro. That's the driver running in the 14th spot. As we said, the 92 of Matt Round-Garrido out of the race car already. That's it for Round-Garrido. Tough one for Matt. See him back at Road America. Very talented Englishman. Tremendous run at St. Petersburg earlier this year. On the podium. So with 19 laps to go, Michael D'Orlando leads. Prescott Campbell runs second. Jace Denmark in third. Kiko Porto fourth. Fifth is Christian Brooks. 6th spot, Yuvan Sundarmurthy. 7th, Josh Green. 8th, Josh Pearson. 9th, Nolan Siegel. And 10th is Dylan Christie. Prescott Campbell has not let up at all. He has not been more than 5 or 6 car lengths behind D'Orlando the entire run. Got very close about 15 laps ago in turn number 3, trying to use that lap traffic. Went to the bottom of the track, wasn't quite able to make it stick. Oh, a little wiggle there, a little entry oversteer. Car got super loose on the entry to turn 1. for Prescott Campbell, but he managed it nicely. They've got Eli Navarro in front of them, then Billy Fraser, then Miles Rowe. That'll be the cars that could get lapped before this is all said and done. 17 laps to go. And Campbell within a couple of car lengths. He's going to want to use Navarro. Prescott Campbell. Before COVID was going to school in Oxford. Mechanical engineering. This guy is an absolute genius. When we have our kids on track to our paddock, he's the guy that gives the STEM tours. This guy knows his stuff. If he's not going to end up in IndyCar, he's probably going to end up in a box. He might be a race engineer in Formula One or whatever it may be, but he's a talented driver for sure. Former Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series winner. The champion 2 years ago. Second year in the series here. First year with D-Force Racing. Prescott Campbell. 2 car lengths behind D'Orlando. 61 laps in the book, 14 to go in the Freedom 75. Big run down the back straightaway. Campbell's going to close. Not quite close enough yet to Eli Navarro. He's to within a length and a half. Up on the gearbox. Here comes Prescott Campbell going to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side. Thinking about turn number 2. How's the car feel at the bottom? Pretty good forward bite out of turn number 2. Not quite alongside. You got the wing there. Oh, but he dives it in the bottom. Oh, almost contact as D'Orlando running the inside line. Don't see any potential damage, but yeah. Campbell thinking about sending it into turn number 3. And D'Orlando ran a more defensive line. Took a lot of air off the front wing. Campbell got to gather it back up. 12 to go. 12 laps remaining. Pick up some of the other battles on the racetrack right now. There are literally 8 cars coming into the view of your leader, Michael D'Orlando, in the Cape Motorsports machine. Not playing well in terms of the amount of laps we have left. They're going to get to Eli Navarro, potentially getting to Trey Burke as well. Look at Billy Fraser around the outside of Miles Rowe. Fraser getting the spot back. That's for 12th. Oh, and way up high to the turn number 1 marbles. Almost threw it away. Oh, side by side, leaders touch. The leaders have touched. They're connected. They are connected. They are in trouble. Those leaders just connected each other. They are side by side. Look at this. Connected out of turn number 2, the contact. Side by side. Prescott Campbell to the bottom. They were locked up coming out of turn number 2. The right front of Prescott Campbell jammed into the right rear, or the left rear rather, of D'Orlando. What kind of damage is residual? Where is Jace Denmark from P3? He's got Kiko Porto closing. What's in the mind of these drivers here? That contact. How much of the damage to the right front for Prescott Campbell? They're still sending it into the opening corners like it's nothing. Denmark getting closed up here by the number 12, Akiko Porto. Campbell threw it in there, and the car drifted up the racetrack on him. That may take the lap traffic out of the issue. 8 laps remaining. Leaders are still pushing hard. In front of them, Peter Verdanovich and Trey Burke. I don't see any damage to Prescott Campbell, but they're definitely going to close up on these 2 that are battling further back. Verdanovich and Burke. Literally fighting for 22nd. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes D'Orlando. Campbell trying to get a better run on him. Got to use the pick. D'Orlando's going to have to go to the bottom here on Trey Burke. And it'll be a topside run. Coming out of the corner to the bottom comes Prescott Campbell. Still about 4 car lengths between first and second. They connected each other. Contact in 2 just 2 laps ago. 5 laps remaining when they come across the line. 5 to go for D'Orlando. He has not put a wheel wrong yet. More lap cars up front. Eli Navarro running 13th, slipping by Nathan Byrd. Still more lap cars to contend with. Kiko Porto trying to see if he can't close back up on Jace Denmark. Same goes for Yuvan Sundermurthy behind Christian Brooks. That's a battle for the lead in the championship. Brooks trying to gain some points back on Sundermurthy. And to pick up the leaders again, down the back straightaway. D'Orlando with a comfortable lead now. You wonder whether or not Prescott Campbell potentially more damage. That right front probably a little weaker than the left rear. Definitely more weight on that rear tire than the right front of Prescott Campbell. Jace Denmark is closing up on Campbell. There's no doubt about it. We may have a battle for second here pretty soon. He's potentially the fastest guy on the track. He is. Jace Denmark from P3, quickest driver on the racetrack. 2 to go this time by. D'Orlando the bottom of Nathan Byrd trying to use lap traffic. Denmark trying to reel in Prescott Campbell. Christian Brooks trying to hold off Yuvan Sundaramurthy. That's the battle of the championship. P1 and P3. Kiko Porto in second in the points, trying to see if he can't take over the lead after this race. Leader to the bottom. White flag going to fly this time by. D'Orlando able to slide by the number 6 of Majoy Garg. Here goes Jace Denmark. We're battling for second. Prescott Campbell throws it into turn number 1 to make sure Denmark doesn't get it. Coming down the back straightaway. Michael D'Orlando trying to get the race win done here. Prescott Campbell able to get by Byrd. What a weekend here, Lucas Oil Raceway. And the victory in the Freedom 75 for Michael D'Orlando. Cape Motorsports wins. And from the PA, we can see Michael Sr., Mom Sherry, brother Nicholas. Nicholas, of course, in the F1600 Championship Series. We'll see him in USF 2000 next year. What a big day for the D'Orlando family as they're able to get the win. Michael D'Orlando with the victory, and talk about being challenged all race long. Prescott Campbell put the pressure on for 75 laps. Contact coming through turn number 2. And the two drivers were essentially locked together coming down the straightaway. Drivers being very gentle on the steering input, not to try to break the suspension on the cars. Somehow they were able to come out cleanly. Michael D'Orlando with the win, the margin half a second at the line. Prescott Campbell second. Jace Denmark had a look to the inside of Prescott Campbell as well into turn 1 on the final circuit, but Campbell took that midline as well. Just able to hold off the rookie, but what a run for Jace Denmark. That was impressive. Kiko Porto ends up in 4th, Christian Brooks in 5th, Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 6th. So I got to think that Kiko Porto, very close. I'm not sure that he takes the point lead away from Sundaramurthy. It might still be Yuvan, but a good points haul as well for Christian Brooks. Josh Green comes home 7th, Josh Pearson 8th, Nolan Siegel 9th, and Dylan Christie rounding out the top 10. Wow, that was a heck of a race in USF 2000. We had battles, of course, for the lead. We had fights back for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We were following scraps for 14th, 15th, and 16th. Drivers going too wide. But now that it's done, can't do the commentator curse on it for the second straight year. We go green to checker in both of our races, Pat.
That's the story. With the number of rookies we had in this oval, the performance of both groups in 2 races was spectacular. On that situation where you had the cars hooked together, the number one thing that can happen is to have someone panic and get on the brake. You've got to keep the wheels going and be smart, and they did that. Spectacular show.
Yeah, indeed, Pat. Exactly that. All it takes is one person to jump on the wheel or try to jam on the brake to separate it, and you end up getting with broken suspension. So really, I want to say the first and second place drivers, Michael D'Orlando and Prescott Campbell, probably just dodging a bit of a bullet there, not only with the contact, but what could have happened afterwards. Podium getting brought around like it did before. We'll get it back here onto pit lane, and again, the opportunity for the drivers to climb from their cars, families down there, teams down there. Big races for a number of these drivers. Prescott Campbell was in 6th place in points coming in. Had not had a podium finish since the 2 podiums at Barber Motorsports Park. So to finish second here for Prescott Campbell on the oval, I think unbelievably happy for him. It'll give him confidence again moving to Road America in June. Can't say much about or enough about Jace Denmark coming right out of karting. Right here into the USF 2000 program. He's been unbelievably quick, of course, with a fantastic team with Pabst Racing. But to be able to get it all done here today and come home P3 in your first ever event on an oval, I think that speaks volumes for Jace Denmark. And again, a track where if you make that little mistake, if you get too aggressive, it's going to be bad. And again, we can't overstate how impressed we are and how proud we are of our drivers going green to checker in both our races, Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000. No yellows whatsoever. Second straight year as well, and that's, again, one of the calling cards of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. There is a lot of track time. We don't go yellow that much. Our drivers, high-level competitors, and, again, the respect they have for race controls, I think what provides us with such good events. Podium rolling its way down here onto the pit lane right by start-finish. Double checkers, of course, being given to Michael D'Orlando from the official Road to Indy starter, Aaron Likens. Aaron will be on the stand at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday. Proud of being able to work with Aaron for, got to be probably 12 years. Back in his days, of course, as the official flagman for the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, also a flagman for USAC and a quarter midget program. And Aaron, of course, with that dream of one day being able to be part of the Indianapolis 500. He'll be living that dream again this coming Sunday, which I think we're all super proud. Great to have him as our official flagman of the Road to Indy. And again, he'll have one of the best vantage points of the race on victory lane getting set up. And we'll be able to honor the three drivers that found success here. Again, USF 2000, the very first rung of this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Champions chasing almost $400,000 scholarship to move to Indy Pro in 2022. A little post-race debrief with the drivers talking to their team owners and spotters, of course, engineers when they've got out of the race car. Always good to get the information when it's raw and fresh. I'm sure they'll do a quick little debrief before wrapping things up. And again, big thank you to all of you race fans who have come back out here today. I know we wanted to get the event in yesterday, but great to have you guys out here again on a gorgeous blue sky Saturday afternoon, Memorial Day weekend. So Road to Indy staff will try to corral our drivers, get them over to the podium. Easier said than done. Of course, the excitement after the event, being able to get themselves onto the podium here. You can see Michael D'Orlando down there with his dad on pit lane. Brother Nicholas D'Orlando here this weekend as well, running in the F1600 Championship Series, coming off a win, I believe, last weekend. Barber Motorsports Park. So once again, we'll cap things off on our Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires events here as part of the Carb Night Classic, or what was, I guess, the afternoon before the 500. Get our drivers over here and get things underway. Again, this podium is where we saw the likes of Oliver Askew and Renus VK, Colton Herta, Sage Karam, and in years past, Spencer Piggott, of course. So many drivers coming through the USF 2000 program. Series starting back in 2010, but USF 2000 itself just celebrating its 400th race ever. USAC actually was the promoter of that program back in 1990, 400 races. This is the 401st USF 2000 race in the history of the program, the formula. Well, it looks like we've got our drivers down here. They're getting themselves suited up so we can get things underway. And indeed, let's head down, folks, to Tatis Victory Lane. Starting with the driver coming home in third place today. What a tremendous drive for the rookie from Pabst Racing. A round of applause for Jace Denmark. First podium in Road to Indy competition for Jace Denmark. A guy to watch in the future. What a tremendous rookie season it's been thus far. Finishing in second, this was race-long pressure. Threw it in turn 3 at one point, then tried it over in turn number 1 and 2 to have that contact. Nonetheless, a tremendous run. Back on the podium, folks, for D-Force Racing, finishing second, Prescott Campbell. Strong run for Prescott, a race winner earlier this year at Barber Motorsports Park. But it's a green to checker victory and a big one. Going to move him up there in the championship. The New York driver coming home for Cape Motorsports, the winner of the Freedom 75, Michael D'Orlando. Yeah, folks, you wonder how he can fit in the USF 2000 car? It's very tight. Let's put it that way. He is tall. A tremendous talent, though. Second year in the series, fourth last year in the championship. He's going to move up significantly here. 45 points for a race win, 1.5 points for our oval events. So, again, capping things off. Michael D'Orlando with the win. Prescott Campbell second. Jace Denmark third. And the champagne flying. They're going after each other in a big way. First time on the podium, the road to Indy for Jace Denmark, a very impressive young rookie. Prescott Campbell getting back once again after Barber Motorsports Park at the start. The clink of the champagne. Class acts on the podium. Folks, thank you so much. One more time, a round of applause for the podium here in USF 2000. D'Orlando, Campbell, and Denmark. And that wraps things up for the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Lots more racing for you here today, folks. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for getting a chance to watch the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. I'll pass it back over to the guys here from USAC.
Time to go with the USAC Midgets back on track here, folks. They're going to get a quick hot lap session. They're guaranteed at least